So let us continue with what we had started. Fine. Yeah. Cool. Classic. Yep. Hi all. Whoever you watching, welcome to the live. Okay. Yeah. Today what we shall be covering is the database file. Fine. Yeah. Let me just check whether I am actually online or not. And how does it sound? Am I audible? 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 Yeah. All cool. Yeah, so let us continue with our learning. That is nothing but the we are learning currently. Yeah, okay. So setting up the database, that is SQLite, we are trying to set up. Fine, yeah. So I want something more. Okay, in part one, what is there? We'll just check it. Okay, exceptions were done yesterday, right? Yeah. So yeah, okay. So we had learned about what is SQL, SQLite, what is the definition of SQL, SQL operations, what are different operations, four main operations, CRUD operations, create, read, update, delete. Okay, yeah, classic. Let's go further. Now, yeah, we were setting up this something called the connection with ORM SQLAlchemy. Okay, what we had done yesterday was, first of all, let's understand the file structure. What we did create a package, right? Yes, and the package name we have put it as to do, and in that file, when you create a package in that of PyCharm, you'll get a file that is underscore underscore init underscore underscore dot py. Okay, fine. Yeah. Then we had to delete this book and book to, just I have kept for my convenience. I want that to be there so that I can refer it in future. Then we have the file structure that you could see that we have under to-do app. Now just we need to focus on that of to-do app folder. In it has init.py, it has database.py, right? So yes. So I'm just having some cold. Okay. Okay, let's go further. Okay, that's fine. Okay, going further. SQL Alchemy installation. So how are we going to install SQL Alchemy? We have, what is SQL Alchemy? It is an ORM. What is ORM? ORM is Object Relational Mapping. What does ORM stand for? Object Relational Mapping. Purpose of this is what? Connect fast API application to database. So by using SQL Alchemy, we are actually connecting fast API application to that of database. What are the different features? In this, we will have create database connection and manage database records. Fine, yeah. So SQL Alchemy, it is ORM, Object Relational Model. What is its purpose? Its purpose is to connect fast API application to database. So whatever we create, it is to be connected to the database. That work is done by that of SQL Alchemy, connecting fast API application to database. What are different features? Features in this SQL Alchemy would be creating database connections. That is what we are trying to do in the database.py, creating database connections and managing database records. Database records, fine. Yes. How do we now? First of all, let us install the SQL Alchemy. How do we install it? We install it by using pip install SQL Alchemy, right? As on here. This is what we do. First of all, here uh, I want to go into that of cd to do app. Okay, yeah. Then put my let me activate my fast API environment. Okay, so it says something. Okay, fast API env scripts bat and then go into, yeah, that's cool, right? Yeah, this is how we are going to do, right? Yeah. So we install fast SQL Alchemy over here. That's cool. Then what do we have? Then we have database configuration. Okay. Now database.py file we have created. That's fine. Then we write something called that is SQL database URL. Something like this. SQL database URL as SQLite is to ///3 slash. Okay. Dot slash to dos dot db. Fine. Yes or no? Yeah. This is what we write, right? Yes or no? Yes. Right. Yeah. Here the database type is SQLite. Location inside to do directory. Yes or no? Yeah. To do directory के अंदर हम बनाया file name todos.db. Okay, fine. Now second thing, first see database configuration करना है आपको. You want to configure the database. You do one thing, that is database URL setup. First of all, that is this SQL database URL SQLite is to ///3 slashes dot slash to do dot db. Fine. So yes. After that, the second step is engine creation. What is it? Engine creation. Fine. So no, yes. Engine creation from SQL Alchemy. Import create engine. So no, yeah. From SQL Alchemy, import create engine. So how do you create the engine? Okay, how do you create the engine? How do you create it? Let's try understanding that. Fine. Yes or no? Yeah. Engine equals to create engine. This is how we create our engine. As engine equals to create engine. Create engine is coming from that of SQL Alchemy import create engine. Okay, from SQL Alchemy we import create engine. You are getting that? Are you getting that? Simple. From SQLAlchemy has a package called create engine. Okay, let me say a object called create engine. SQLAlchemy package has an object called create engine that we are importing create engine, and in create engine we pass the uh, we pass the database URL. Yes or no? Yes. What is the database URL? SQL Alchemy underscore database underscore URL. Yes or no? Yes. And then we connect. We have another parameter that goes in, that is connect args. Okay, connect args, connect arguments, and that is something like it is going to take an object, and it has key value pairs. Check same thread is to false. So what is the purpose of this engine? What is this engine doing? We set this up. Okay, this is normal code that we write. We set this up, but we need to understand what is the purpose, why we write check same thread, why we are passing in connect args. Okay, fine. Yeah, let's understand it. Engine purpose. The purpose of this engine, why, the questions might be arising in our mind. Why are we importing this create engine, right? We are trying to set connection between FastAPI application and the database, right? Yes or no? Yes. So the things which would make this possible is the engine creation. Fine. Yes or no? Yes. So engine creation's purpose is function. The function of that of engine uh, creation engine is opens and manages database connections. Okay. So you're making use of this create engine to open and manage database connections. Try understanding this. Try understanding this. It's very important. It's very important. What does it do? Right here. What does it do? What is the function of that of the engine creation? Why are we even creating the engine? The function of that engine creation is it opens and manages database connections. Open करता है, manage करता है database connections को. Okay. Yeah. Opening and managing data connection. Two things. It opens and manages data connection. That is the purpose of that of the engine. Fine. Sorry. Yes. And the second param that goes in these is connect args, right? So yeah, it is a special configuration for SQLite. That's fine. Now you say check same thread as false. What is use of this? The question might be asked, right? Yes, that is thread configuration. We are configuring the thread over here. Default SQLite only allows one thread. So this particular database, that is SQLite, okay, by default it only allows one thread. Okay, yes. Fast API requirements are it requires multiple thread needed. Fine, yeah. So solution is check same thread as false. Reason that is fast API can have multiple simultaneous database interactions. Default SQLite has only one thread. Fast API requirement is that it has multiple threads needed. Solution for that is check same thread as false. Fast API can have multiple simultaneous database interactions, so that fast API can see SQLite, it only interacts with one thread. So to just disable that it just don't be with one thread, it should interact with, so that our fast API interacts with many threads. So we have this param being connect args check same thread as false. Fine. So here, right? Yeah. So that our fast API can have multiple threads and it can interact multiple times with data with a database. Fine. Yeah. So yeah. Then we got the purpose of that of what? Just 1 minute. Yeah. So let's go further. That's fine. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We got to know the purpose, the engine's purpose. It's simple that FastAPI application. Simple. What is the purpose? To open and manage database connections, right? Yes or no? Yes. So we want to set up this database connection with that of our FastAPI application. There should be somebody who would actually open this connection that is nothing but connect, right, this application and this database should open this connection and manage the connections, right? Yes or no? Yes. That is the purpose of this engine, right? Yes or no? Yes. Right. Yeah. And this connect args is nothing but special configuration that we provide to that of SQLite. And see, by default this SQLite takes only one thread, that is it interacts with only one thread. It is one single threaded, we can say, SQLite. But fast API can have multiple threads, so that it should actually interact with multiple threads. For that we disable something called that is check same thread as false, so that it can interact with multiple threads, right? Yeah, that is the reason we write that check same thread as false. Then we have session local setup. Fine. Yeah, session local setup. And how do we do this? From that of SQLAlchemy.orm. ORM stands for relational mapping, right? Yes or no? Yes. Object relational mapping, right? And what does this ORMs do? ORMs connect the fast API application to that of database. Any ORM, not just fast API, to any ORM. What it does, it connects some application base. It can be built upon Node.js. It can be built upon fast API. It can be built upon whatever the application is to connect to that of this database. This ORM works over there, right? So yes, so it connects the database and manages database records, creates database connection and manages. So ORM will actually create this database connection and manage these features, manage database records. Fine, yes or no? Yes. So ORM, what is going to do? It is going to create this connection that is between the fast API application and the database. So this connection is established by whom? ORM, right? Yes or no? Yes. And also, if it can establish connection, it also has some other feature that is manage database records. So whatever records be in the database that can be managed by this application via ORM, right? So yeah, we got to know about database configuration, how we are going to configure it, how database URL is set up, right? Yes. After that, how engine is set up, right? Yeah, engine is set up. Now we speak about the third, that is the third configuration, the third main configuration, that is about SQLAlchemy. From SQLAlchemy.orm we import session maker. What do we import? We import something called session maker. Fine. Yes or no? Yeah, we import something called session maker. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. So Session local setup. Let's see how do we create a session local setup. Fine, yeah. So how we are going to create from SQLAlchemy.orm. From SQLAlchemy.orm, we import something called session maker. What do we import? We import something called session maker. What do we import? We import something called session maker. From what? From SQLAlchemy.orm. From SQLAlchemy.orm, we import session maker. Fine, as long as do you get that? Have you learned it? Did you get that? Okay, just learn it. Yeah, by hearting there is no way in by hearting this. This is actually need to be by hearted. From SQLAlchemy.orm, we import session maker. Why is that? To create sessions, right? Yeah. Now let us set up this session. So the package that is SQLAlchemy.orm, from this SQLAlchemy.orm, we import a object that is nothing but session maker, right? Yes or no? Yes. What do we import? We import something called session maker, right? Yes or no? Yes. Now in this session maker, there are some params that are passed. What are those params? Auto commit, auto flush, and bind. Yes or no? Yeah. Auto commit, auto flush, and bind. Fine. Yes or no? Yeah. So session maker is going to take three parameters: auto commit, auto flush, and bind. This now, what is the purpose of this session maker? We have imported this. Okay, what is it going to do? And after that, we'll discuss about these params that are being passed, right? So yeah, that's cool thing, right? Yeah. So session local purpose. So what is its purpose? First of all, let's understand the function. So it is going to create something called database session instances. So it is going to create database instances. Fine, yeah, session instances. So yeah, note class itself is not a database session yet. Okay, future is will become actual database sessions. Okay, function of this session maker is to create database session instances. Okay, yeah. Configuration parameters, we have auto commit as false. What does it do? It manually control over database commits. So when you say auto commit as false, we are making auto commit as false so that manual control over database commits can be achieved. Manual control over database commits can be achieved so that auto flush, manual control over database flushes. We are establishing manual control over database flushes. Bind equals to engine, connecting to the engine we created. So when you say bind equals to engine, what is it doing? It is connecting to the engine that we have created above, right? So yeah. Auto flush, what it says that uh, I want a manual control over database flushes. Okay. Auto commit, what it says that I want a manual control over database commits, whatever happened in the future, right? So yeah. So there were two main things that we got from there. That is, why are these sessions created? What is the function of this session maker is actually the word itself that it is going to create session instances, right? As soon as it is going to create database, we are writing it in database. So it is about database. So it is actually going to create database session instances. Who? Session maker. What is it going to do? It's going to create database session instances, right? As soon as class itself is not a database session yet. Class itself. Okay, that's fine. Configuration parameters, we got to know. So session maker has three parameters, that is commit, auto commit, we put it as false. Then auto flush, we put it as false, and bind, we bind it with that of the engine that we have created, right? Yes. Yeah, cool, classic, right? Yeah. Then we have the base database object. Okay, base database object. So how do we get this base? Okay, so from SQL Alchemy extend dot declarative, we import declarative base. From SQL Alchemy dot extend text dot declarative, we import something called declarative base. Okay, fine, yes or no, yes. And what is its purpose? What is the function? Then we bring that declarative base and we put it in some variable called base. Now what is the purpose of this base object purpose? Okay, okay, yeah, that base is actually an object. Okay, yeah. Function creates database object for interaction. So this base is nothing but it is a database object for interaction. Right? Yes. Future is will control database tables. So by using this base object, we are going to control database tables. Fine. Are you getting that? Yeah. So when you say declarative base being put into a base variable, that base is nothing but what is it? It is a database object for interaction. What is it? It is database object for interaction, right? Yes or no? Yes. Yes or no? Yes. In future, we'll be using this base object to actually, what do we say, to control these tables, right? Database tables. Role foundation for creating database table models. So this base is actually going to play a vital role to build a foundation for creating database table models. That's classic. That's classic. So complete database file structure, we got to know first of all the SQL database URL was set up. Then we had the creation of the engine, and the third was the session maker. Fourth was the base object, right? S. So key concepts that actually we let me summarize what we learned in here. Database components, first of all, URL, location, and type of the database. So the URL that we have actually established, the SQL database URL, that is what is it doing? It's actually taking the location and type of the database. Here, the type of the database that we have defined is actually SQLite, right? SOS. Then we had the engine creation, right? SOS. So database connection manager is nothing but the engine one. Session local database session creator. Okay, session local is database session creator. Then we had base, that is database object foundation, right? Yeah. Why these components? URL, what is it going to do? Tells SQL Alchemy where to find and create the database, right? It's going to find the SQLite and what database is to be created. It is going to tell that. Engine handles opening and closing of database connection. You want to connect this application to this database. It is going to open and close the connection. Session local manager manages individual database transactions. Transactions are nothing but the queries that we put in. Okay, cool. And base provides foundation for creating database table models. Classic. Classic, yeah. That was something more important and more informative information, right? Yeah. Let us go further now. Now I shall playing a video over here and looking it into it, understanding it, and then explaining it to you. Fine, yeah. Classic. So yes, great. Sorry for this. I'm just having some cold. Okay. Yeah. Now let's go further. Fine. Yep. Let us not stop right here. Yep. 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 Needs to go on doing it right here. Needs to understand this. Cool. So we were on this. Okay, let's not waste our time with this mobiles. They are the worst distractions, I would say. Worse than anything. They can spoil your whole career. Now we are learning about creating database models. Fine, Asan? Yeah. So the database tables are actually called as models. What are they called as? Models. Okay. Database tables. Project. Okay. Database tables are actually called as models. Okay. Yeah. How we are learning about how we are going to create models. Fine. Yep. Now what we do is in the folder that is to do, we are going to create going to create a file named models.py. Fine. Yes. So yeah. Right here. Just listening to the video and watching it. First, I will just learn it, and then I shall actually explain it over here, and we shall do it in practical. Fine, yeah. I need to understand it. I need to focus on it. So keep on, so I can understand it well and perform well. So this database model is actually going to be a real record that is going to be in the database right here. Now we are going to have a table that is called to dos right here. Inside to dos, each record is going to have an ID. It's going to have a title, description, priority, complete. So what we're going to do now is, as we spoke in that of database.py, we have something called declarative base, and that was actually kept in a variable called base, and that became an object, right? So that one we are going to import it in that of models.py. How do we import some object that has been defined in other file into models.py, right here? How do we import an object that is base that has been created inside database, and we need to import it in that of models? So that's very simple. What do you do? From database, the file name in which that object is residing currently, import base. Fine. So yeah, this is how we do it. What was the use of base? Base is used for creating the tables, right? Is it specifically used for creating the tables? Specifically, what was the definition that we had gone through? What is base going to do, right? What is base going to do? So it is a foundation for creating database table models, fine. Foundation is for creating database. So if you want to control this database tables, you make use of this base, right? Yeah, clear. Yep, clear, right? You want to control the tables that are created inside database. How do you control it? By using this declaratives object, declarative base object placed into base, that base, right? Yeah. So now, first of all, let's try to understand this. Not able to understand this like 100%, but I will just do it practically first to understand what is it actually happening. What is happening actually? Okay, right? Yeah. So we create a class named todos, and we create a table name. Okay, and that is todos. Fine. So yeah, that is what we do over here. And the base that we have brought is actually passed in over here. Fine. Yep. So this is the way how SQL alchemists get to know that what should our table be named inside database. SQL alchemy gets to know how should our table be named. So our table name should be to-dos. So we tell that SQL alchemy that our table name should be to-dos inside database so that it gets to know. Right? Yep. That is why we have written underscore underscore table name underscore underscore code equals to to-dos. Fine. So so this class to-dos, which is going to mimic the tables of to-dos. So we'll be writing now columns which will be taking place inside our table, right? So what will be our columns be named? ID, which is going to be a primary key. Then we have title, then we have description, then we have priority, then we have complete. In the same way, if we want to think about some other project, that is, it will have ID, it will have some first name, last name. Let me think about some form, we have ID, then we'll have some first name, last name, then some channel, then Yeah, that's all right. That will be our columns. So how do we define our columns inside that of the table by using SQL Alchemy right here? Now from that off, Alchemy let us import column and integer. So what we are saying over here, this ID is going to be a new column and its data type is going to be an integer. And then after that, what we are going to say is that this is our primary key equals to, that is true. So what is this saying is we have a column named ID and its data type is integer. It is going to take integer. It is integer data type, and the second thing is it is a primary key. So index equals to true is actually going to improve our performance. Fine, yeah. Then let us import some more data types. Okay, fine, yeah. We import string, then we import boolean. Fine. So title equals to column of that of string, right? Yeah, and then we have uh, description, which is column that is of string data type, right? Yeah, and then after this, what is that? Showing some error. Call expression not allowed in type X pylons. The base of for all string and character types. Okay, check that. What is it? Okay, my mistake was I was writing colon. How full am I? Then we have another column named priority, which is nothing but column of that of integer, and then we have complete column of that of integer. Yeah. So the complete is actually a boolean data type. default of that are false, right? So our table is going to have ID column, title column, description column, priority column, and complete column. Okay, let's come to the explanation part now, right? Yeah. So we did create a file named models.py, right? So yeah, and that was created inside the to do app folder. That's fine. Purpose of this models that we have defined is what? Function tells SQL Alchemy that what database tables to create. So inside models.py, we are going to tell SQL Alchemy what database tables to create. Database model actual record inside a database table. Database model actual record inside a database table. Table structure defines columns and data types for each table. So purpose of these models tells SQL Alchemy what database tables to create. Okay, database model actual record inside a database table. Shantata. Focus. I know that in between distractions come up, thought somewhere goes, but you need to focus. I need to focus up, okay? Everyone needs to focus. Focus is the only main part that we can do. Focus. Focus. Fine. Yeah. We can do that, right? Yeah. Yep. We can do that. Purpose of models. Function. Tells SQL Alchemy what database tables to create. Function of this models.py is to tell SQL Alchemy what database tables to create and actual records inside a database table. And in this models.py, it is also defines the columns and data types for each table. So we have tables, what columns and what are the data types going to be. That is defined inside models.py. And the actual records which will be present in the database are here. Okay. To do table structure, table design, let's say table design. So table name is going to be to do's columns. Fine. So yes. Table name is to do's and columns are going to be table design क्या होने वाला है table design and columns. So table name we will have to do's that we can see over here, and the columns we have ID, which is unique identifier, that is primary key. Then we have title, which is task name or title, description, task details, priority, task importance level, complete, task completion status. So I'm just telling you the description of what our particular columns are going to do. The ID is actually unique identifier and it is also a primary key. Title, it is a task name or title. Description, task details, whatever task we added, their description. Priority, task importance level, fine here. And complete, task completion status. Now let's understand about code implementation, fine here. So required imports, we have two required imports. From database we imported base, yeah, and from SQLAlchemy we imported column, integer, string, and boolean. Database model class, we have class defined over here. To do, inside that we have passed base. The table name is going to be to dos that shall be reflected inside that of database, and the columns defined are ID, which is going to be a integer and it is a primary key, and also we are defined index for better search, yeah. Then we have title is going to be a column and it's going to be going to take strings in it, okay, yeah. Then we have description, which is a column and it is of data type string. Then we have priority, which is another column which is going to have integers. Then we have complete column, which is going to take boolean value. Default, it is going to be false, fine here. False is 0 and true is 1. Column specifications, ID column, ID you say, column in column and its data type integer, comma primary key as true, index as true, right here. So data type here, it is going to be integer, primary key as true. A unique identifier for each record, index true, improves performance, enables fast lookups, fine here. Fast lookups, that is very important. Lookups are very important. String columns, title, it is of type column, okay. Description, it is a column of type string. Data type is string. Purpose, store text-based information. Default is none or null if not specified. Priority column, again it is of data type integer. Its purpose is to take numerical priority level. Default none or null if not specified. Complete column, okay. Boolean, true or false. False, new tasks are incomplete. Track task completion status. So table naming, you see that to do's is named over there. Okay, to do's, the capital, this part, to do's, that's the class name, Python class. And table name is to do's, that will be reflected inside the database table, okay. And connection, database, the table name links class to actual database table. So this statement, this actually, what is it doing? It links this class, the to do class, to the actual table. Now what is this doing? This is inheriting base, right? We have passed base in it, so it is inheriting base, fine, yes. From database import base, inheritance is happening over here. Base is being inherited. Purpose, what is the purpose of inheriting base? Its purpose is to connect model to database configuration, okay. Record structure, each record in the to-dos table will contain an ID, title, description, priority, and okay. Yeah, file, that's fine. So we got to know that this is the inheritance, why you are passing base. So it inherits some things from there. Okay, classic. That's the parent class, I would say. Yeah, classic. So also you need to work on those inheritance part, right? Yeah, I get that. Let's go further then. We're done with this. Again, mobile, just put it down. It's no use to have mobile. So we're going to create some file named main where all the magic is going to happen. It is the root file. File. Yep. So what things we did over here? We are importing the models. Fine. Yep. We are importing database. Sorry, engine from that of database. Then we simple created some fast API app, that is we are just creating an object of this app. Okay, then we have models dot base dot metadata dot create all bind equals to engine, and this shall actually come up over here. It shall create this database. Fine, yeah. So when I actually click on enter, we are creating a new database. In this file, you can see just there are 4 files in it. That is init py, database py, main py, and models py. When I click on enter, when I actually press on enter, it shall actually create a new database file over here. And yeah, you can see that todos.db has been created. Fine, as on here. Now we aren't able to open this. Let us actually install the SQLite. Fine, yeah. So you just pick this folder and then go back to this C drive and then paste it over here. I just want to take some break. It's 6:48, I think. So it's 1 hour 15 minutes. And we did learn not a lot, but there was some time pass. Yeah, I get that, but a lot was in our mind, and we did learn. Yeah, thank you for watching this. Let's meet in next. Okay, thank you.